if you know baseball, you know what shortstop do. They run around, they fill in the empty space that the ball will fall on them. Anyway, so we have to kind of look at some more concrete actions. And we heard a lot about, and these flip charts are all posted up here for ideas from everyone. I don't want to be dictating ideas to you. I want the ideas to surface up from you. So there are several things we heard very clearly from this conference. Very urgent. April 1st, Census Day. We need to do something to make AAPI community, everyone counts. How can we do that? I want ideas of how your organization can help to organize, to mobilize. We know the funding is very low in many states, so it means a lot of volunteering has to come to fill in that empty, not paid position. So I like to have somebody be writing down ideas. So I would like one post for census and one post for the presidential town hall. That's something we can do something concrete about. And any other ideas that you want to put down. So put it on the third pad. So I like to invite people to come up if you have ideas to put down. Can someone help me write? Who has a very good writing? Not me. Okay. Anyone want to volunteer? Yes, please. How about we put some of these charts closer to each other? And I also want the head on this table to say what they are thinking so they get people's brain juice going, okay? So what you have done in those areas and what you think needs to be done more. Are you ready? Who is ready? You want to go first? Okay. Question?
Yes. I have a question. After we've done all this, why it's just only 4 of us sitting up here?
Somebody invited you to sit there.
Okay. After we said we want to empower AAPI, why we only 4 of us here? So I have a question. Never stop to ask why. I hope this is not the answer. We are proposing a question included what HP did and all of you did in other fields. I just have that question. But the roadmap, we need to have everybody in the picture. That's my question.
We'll talk about action plan. I want Emily to write down. And I want all community leaders to think about it. Please join your city or county Asian American Complete Account Committee, AACCC. Each city or each county supposed to have a complete account committee. Under the complete account committee has subcommittees. We want to be on the C, Asian American Complete Account Committee, especially those blue states, your county or city or state have funding. As a complete account committee, steering committee member, or as a member of a complete account committee, you can apply. And you can apply funding. For example, our Texas has no funding at all, 0 funding. But here comes private funders. And you can, as a complete account committee, we are invited to apply funding. So that funding can help us to get canvasser, to get paid materials, advertising, to pay the managers, to reach out to the hard-to-count communities. So I just hope you all can do a little Google search, see who is in charge of the complete account committee in your city, and join them as a subcommittee. Thank you. Subcommittee for Asian American Complete Count.
Under the full committee of
Yes.
CCC, right? Something complete. What is that called?
County City Complete Count Committee. This is every city, every county has that.
Can I clarify? So not every county or city has an Asian American Complete Count Committee under
Yes.
their county or city CCC.
Yes.
You might have it because you have a higher population of Asian Americans that live in the area where you reside. But for example, in Ohio, we don't have a large population like New York City or California, who by default will have an Asian American Complete Count Committee. So for the state, cities or counties who don't have that automatically as a subcommittee, theirs will have things like immigrant complete count committee, subcommittee count committee, or New American
Minority.
They definitely should join those, but you as AAPI organizations in your state, city, or council, or state, city, or county, should create your own AAPI complete count committee, and you should be working with your census partnerships to actually launch those to be the seats at the table.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to kind of focus and clarify. I think we are here trying to design a roadmap to accomplish breakthroughs. This is the topic of this session. So what kind of breakthrough we're talking about? HP just did an excellent presentation showing that at this time, some people might take us a little bit more seriously than maybe 20 years ago, but still far from comparing with all these other organizations that they take them a lot more seriously. And so how do we get there from here? We're not as low and as far away as before, but certainly we can be closer. So next year, in my mind, the most important two projects, we have already identified that, census and election. Election, we need to get as many people registered to vote as possible. Census, the goal definitely is to get all the Asian counted so that we can have the number. Our number is already lower than all these others, minority groups. So we have to get everyone counted and get everyone registered. That should be our goal. But how to show, and so that next year we'll be able to show that we have made some breakthroughs. I think the measure would be the number of people who goes to the presidential town hall. 2016, we basically had about 1,200 people, community leaders from everywhere, and gathered in Las Vegas. Many organizations joined. And then we had watch parties all around the country. So we connected a lot of people in communities, Asian communities, that could not travel to Las Vegas. I think we should still try to repeat that. And this time, technology is even better. So we should be able to connect even more watch parties so that we can count all the people who got involved in the presidential town hall. And then the first step, in my mind, the roadmap to get there is to look at the joint statement that we put together yesterday. I think every one of us should sign. So you make a pledge that you are going to be involved. So I think that's the first step. The second step, AAUC is making this tremendous effort trying to unite and get all the organizations together so that we have some communication tools so that we have some venue that we can work together. And y'all have seen how this effort has been basically verified in this one conference. This is our first national civic leadership conference that has so many people here. So the second step, after you read the joint statement and sign a joint statement, the second step is to sign up on the AAUC newsletter. I think that can be a very good tool to communicate through our strategy and so that we have a more focused effort from all communities. And then census and election, basically, I think we can do it together. So when you are working on census, you are also working on the voter registration because you're already telling people, get them involved, get them fill out the survey. And then at the same time, we should let them know if you are eligible to vote, you should register and you have to get out to vote. So those are some preliminary things I can think of at this time. Sign the joint statement, sign up for AAUC newsletter, go back to your community, work on census.
Well, I'll say a few words. I like to play the role to provoke some thinking. The first thing I want to point out is just look around yourself here. How many of us are East Asians, Southeast Asians? How many of us are South Asians? I think what is left here, what we would call in English a rump group, what is left, what is last, the core, is mostly South Asians and Southeast Asians. There's not many South Asians here, at least this morning. I know that the organizer has done a lot to try to bring everybody, but I think maybe we could do more to bring South Asians into this discussion. It looks to me still look a little bit too much like East Asian and Southeast Asian. Now that's just a quick observation. Now, town halls, the presidential 2020 town hall is a big deal for us. UCA has decided, along with others like OCA and the AAJ in LA, to move our conventions to Vegas, primarily to support the success of this 2020 town hall. But I want to say one thing here too, that next year will be the third Asian American presidential town hall. And for the last two presidential town hall, as HP has pointed out, nobody showed up. The two-party nominee did not show up. And I don't know, and nobody knows whether any major party nominee will show up or not show up next year. So if 3 times in a row they do not show up, I don't know. We should give all our best help and support to do that. And maybe after that, we don't have to. We have to think again about what we are doing. You think about broadly. Is there an African American presidential town hall? There isn't. Isn't there a Latino presidential town hall? I'm not aware of, right? I'm not saying this is not good. I'm saying this is something worth trying, and we should give a shot, best shot at it. But we also have to be realistic and know where we are, Asian Americans as a group. Quickly, since this is the last finishing words, I would like to again put my provocateur role here. I really think what is missing, I can say all the great words about the organizers, really good conference this time. I like it. But if I want to say what is missing, it may not be just this conference, but maybe more broadly in our discussion about Asian American as a political project. I would say that we have talked too much about politics, but too little about our values and our visions. what kind of American we want it to be, and what Asian American can provide, can give uniquely to that project. Without that vision, and without those core values that we can summarize as Asian Americans' values, how can we pursue our politics? So I would like to see more discussion in the future about what is the uniting Asian Americans as in terms of value and culture and heritage. Not in the sense of moving this away towards the culture and the heritage, but just to find a way to lay a really solid foundation to whatever we want to pursue as a political project. And the second I want to say is that we need to find some way, better way, to communicate between our national APA organizations and some local APA organizations. I can guarantee you that there are some regional local APA organizations that are much well organized, much more powerful, much larger than a few of our national groups. So we somehow missed out a few of those groups across the country. The next thing I would say, and this is a more serious note, that there are many quote-unquote new groups here. Now UCA is 3 years old, a pop-up is 19 years old, and there must be some others I do not know. I know there's National Filipino Associations here. That is maybe longer. The question is this: in Washington, D.C., there is already a coalition, a well-established Asian American political establishment. They have been doing the things they have been doing very successfully for the last 20 years. And those of us is kind of new, or at least new in a sense, we have not been integrated into that Washington, D.C., quote-unquote, if you would say an Asian American establishment, yes, there is in Washington, D.C. How do we talk to each other and find something new, some emerging quality that we can all address together? And I think that is something we need to take seriously. And the last, I would say, there are also better ways or more options for Asian Americans as a whole to communicate and have impact with the federal government and the federal policies. What this conference is a little effort in that directions. I have something I thought about or shared with a few. Maybe I will continue to share in private or some small group discussions. I think, yes, there are ways that we can have a high impact on federal government. What HP's slides, when he's putting over there, I was thinking about our day, our APAC day. I think it's possible that there could be our version of APAC Day. Bearing in mind, Jewish America is only 2% in this country. Asian American is already past 6%, maybe on the way towards 7%, right? We should think our group as a 10% minority group. And also, think about if we got 10% 15, 20 years, maybe even sooner, that's almost as large as African American community in this country. The African Americans is about 12%, more or less. So we could have actually a much larger political power and social impact. Thank you.
Okay, I asked a question from the beginning, but now I only have one point. They asked, what is the roadmap? I only speak from my understanding. When we go to war, we need ammunition. Ammunition has two. You need the soldiers and you need the tools. So now I'm giving you an action item that you all can do. First, I hear different organizations, but when we said we want to be counted, I didn't hear anybody mention the first agency you need to learn to build relationship and collaborate with, Census Bureau. They were earmarked, remember, from 7.5 billion to 5.9 billion, supposed to be working at what we want to do. If we said accountability is mutual, let's do our part. Means each of the Census Bureau has local office. Do you know them? Do you know where they are? Do you know who in charge? Find them out if you're not. Second, ammunition, each of the city, region has community foundation, some sort. San Francisco, Ohio, Cleveland. Look up the phone book, look up or Google, find your community foundation. And they have a mandate and they have a mission to help each of their own community to be counted. Build that partner with your own nonprofit. Know them, get to know them, because one of their mission is to spend that money towards what we want to achieve. So these two agencies, if you don't know them, you're missing a lot of what we can leverage. So that's one point. Second, we just have a wonderful session from API-ABLE. It's about training the soldiers. If you don't know the rules, don't know the games, you lose out in the games. So to be counted, to know where we can be effective. And this can be applied to every one of you in our own neighborhood, in our own school, in our own organization. Awareness, knowing what we could be effective. The last thing is we need to learn to be better storyteller. We have such a wonderful story. I heard so many all through this conference. I'm going to sum it up, and later on in the next hours that I have 3 minutes of those I want to share with you. I am, well, how should I say it? Because it's September, it's always my worst month with 911. I'm sad, I'm angry, and yet I'm very grateful because I see the light and the hope in so many of you that working beyond the call of duty. I want to save that to later on, but I just want, it's like storytelling means that we need to learn how to be articulate, how to really reaching out to the mainstream media so that our message is not just within us. We need to break that circle so that others also will hear our story. How? And that is a group effort. So I throw out another question to you. I'm sorry.